two things the president can do to force Putin to the negotiating table: crippling sanctions, and that'll impact Putin quite a bit. Central bank, oil and gas significantly. Euros are willing to do the same thing. Senator Graham has got 60-plus senators willing to sign up for that to support the president. But Putin dismisses sanctions. It has never changed his behavior ever since sanctions were imposed on him. But nonetheless, it should be done because there is pressure points as a result of it. Second, he's got to outgun Ukraine, not so Ukraine can continue to fight, but because Putin pays attention to the military equation. And that gets his attention significantly. The attempt to force him to the negotiating table. Both of those things, it's about time to try them.
Yeah.
Key takeaways. Two-pronged strategy. General Jack Keane recommends imposing crippling sanctions on Russia's central bank, oil, and gas sectors and enhancing Ukraine's military capabilities to force Vladimir Putin to negotiate seriously. Sanctions mixed efficacy. While sanctions create economic pressure, Putin has historically dismissed them, relying on alternative trade partners, limiting their immediate impact. Military pressure. Outgunning Ukraine aims to shift battlefield dynamics, making the war costlier for Russia, but risks escalating the conflict. Political feasibility. Strong U.S. Senate, 60-plus senators, and European support for sanctions suggest political viability, though global coordination is critical. Strategic risks. Both strategies carry trade-offs: economic disruptions from sanctions and potential escalation from military aid, requiring careful management. Analysis. Context. In the context of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, ongoing for over 38 months, by May 2025, General Jack Keane responds to Maria Bartiromo's question about U.S. actions to advance peace talks, prompted by President Trump's frustration with Putin's lack of seriousness and his threat to walk away from negotiations. Keane proposes two strategies: crippling sanctions and outgunning Ukraine, to compel Putin to the negotiating table. Analysis of proposed strategies. Crippling sanctions. Mechanism and intent. Keane advocates targeting Russia's central bank, oil, and gas sectors, vital to its economy. Oil and gas exports, historically accounting for nearly half of Russia's federal budget, are a key vulnerability. Sanctions aim to disrupt revenue, creating economic strain that could pressure Putin to negotiate. Support and feasibility. The backing of over 60 U.S. senators, led by Senator Lindsey Graham, and European willingness to align indicate strong political support. This coalition enhances the potential for coordinated, impactful measures. Limitations. Keane acknowledges that sanctions have never changed Putin's behavior, a view supported by Russia's adaptation to post-2014 and post-2022 sanctions through trade with China, India, and others. For instance, Russia redirected oil exports to Asia, mitigating Western sanctions' impact. Additionally, sanctions risk global energy market disruptions, potentially raising oil prices and affecting U.S. and European consumers. Neutral assessment. Sanctions are a conventional tool but face challenges against Putin's resilience and Russia's economic pivots. Their cumulative pressure could weaken Russia over time, but immediate behavioral change is unlikely without broader global enforcement, including neutral or non-Western nations. Outgunning Ukraine. Mechanism and intent. Keane suggests enhancing Ukraine's military capabilities to alter the military equation, increasing Russia's battlefield costs. This could involve advanced weaponry, e.g., long-range missiles, drones, to strengthen Ukraine's position, signaling to Putin that prolonged conflict is unsustainable. Strategic rationale. Putin's focus on military outcomes, as seen in his prioritization of territorial control, makes this approach relevant. Ukrainian successes with Western-supplied systems, e.g., HIMARS, have previously forced Russian tactical retreats, supporting Keane's logic. Risks and challenges. Escalating military aid risks prolonging the conflict or provoking Russian retaliation, such as cyberattacks or strikes on Western interests. The financial burden is significant, with U.S. aid to Ukraine already exceeding $75 billion by 2024. There's also the danger of direct NATO-Russia confrontation if Ukraine uses advanced weapons against Russian territory. Neutral assessment. Bolstering Ukraine's military could pressure Putin by raising the stakes, but it requires clear limits to avoid escalation. The strategy's success depends on aligning military support with diplomatic efforts to ensure negotiations, not endless fighting, are the outcome. Evaluation of Trump's walk-away threat. Trump's suggestion to abandon talks if not taken seriously is indirectly addressed by Keane's proactive strategies. Walking away could signal U.S. resolve but risks emboldening Putin or pressuring Ukraine into concessions, e.g., on Crimea. Its effectiveness hinges on credibility, which is uncertain given U.S. interests in countering Russia and supporting NATO allies. Geopolitical considerations. Keane's approach reflects a realist perspective, emphasizing coercion to achieve diplomatic ends. However, Russia's alliances with China and Iran complicate sanctions, while military escalation could strain Western unity or public support. The strategies assume Putin responds to strength, but his history of enduring economic hardship and prioritizing strategic goals, e.g., control over eastern Ukraine, suggests a high threshold for compromise. Success requires balancing pressure with diplomatic channels, ensuring neither side perceives negotiations as capitulation, a challenge given both leaders' pursuit of peace on their terms. Summary. General Jack Keane advises the U.S. to pressure Vladimir Putin into serious Russia-Ukraine peace talks through two strategies: imposing crippling sanctions on Russia's central bank, oil, and gas sectors, and outgunning Ukraine to shift the military balance. Sanctions, supported by U.S. senators and European allies, aim to create economic pressure but face limitations due to Putin's historical dismissal and Russia's trade adaptations. Enhancing Ukraine's military seeks to make the war costlier for Russia, though it risks escalation. Keane's recommendations address Trump's frustration with stalled talks and his threat to walk away, offering proactive measures to break the deadlock. Both strategies carry risks, economic disruptions and military escalation, requiring careful coordination and clear objectives. Conclusion. Keane's proposed strategies, crippling sanctions and outgunning Ukraine, offer a coherent approach to compel Putin to negotiate, leveraging economic and military pressure. While sanctions could strain Russia's economy and military aid could alter battlefield dynamics, their effectiveness is tempered by Putin's resilience and the risks of escalation or global economic fallout. The U.S. must implement these measures with precision, ensuring robust allied support and clear diplomatic pathways to avoid entrenching the conflict. Ultimately, forcing Putin to the table demands a delicate balance of coercion and compromise, with success hinging on aligning pressure with realistic negotiation goals.